I got to do a video about this. It just seems like this just isn't going away. That's fine. Hey, it's what started this whole thing, so I'm going to talk about it. I'm giving another Wholesale Tradelines update. Now, I'm getting mixed messages from different people. Some people are saying, yes, they got their refunds. Some people are saying, no, they didn't. So I'm going to key in now on the people who said that they didn't get refunds. And I'm also going to say this. I didn't take your money. I mean, getting mad at me is not, going to help you at all. I promise you that. I didn't take your money. I don't have your money. I can't personally give you back your money because I don't have it. Because I didn't take it to begin with. So don't kill the messenger, all right? I'm going to let you guys in on some of the things that were going through my head when a lot of this stuff was going down in the earlier days. When Mike and Val, when Mike, made the apology video and, Val emailed me saying that she's waving the white flag, I saw that as an opportunity that, okay, they're going to make good on, refunding people, which that's what I wanted to see happen. Why did I take down my videos? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because, okay, doing a chargeback, yeah, that can work, but sometimes they can fight it. So it's like, yes, I mean, the chargeback is probably the first thing you can try, but it's a lot easier to have the person who owes you money cooperate with you. It's a lot easier to get things done. Things get done a lot more smooth, So it's like, in that particular situation, I was worried that they were just going to bankrupt their company and everybody's just, pretty much screwed when that happens. I mean, that's something that happens all the time. For those of you who are in business, you guys are aware of that kind of stuff. Companies and businesses, they can bankrupt. And when that happens, it's just, the assets in the company get liquidated, but then after that, when it's all gone, that's it. It's done, bankrupt. So, that's something I was afraid of happening. So that's why I kind of was, trying to play nice to make sure that everything would go good. Now, it's been a few months. I'm hoping that there's only just a few people that, they still owe money. I hope it's not, a great number of people, because I saw a lot of people say they got their money back. But as far as my behavior, what I did, I'm not in cahoots with them. I wasn't paid off. I don't have ulterior motives. I wasn't hired by them. I don't own them. They don't own me. It's not some conspiracy theory that I guess some people would like to think. The reason that I did what I did, the way I did it, was because at first it didn't look like they were going to cooperate. So I, advised people to do chargebacks and, to get on their ass. But then when they came and started doing refunds, I backed off because I know that that there's other things they can do, like bankruptcy and things like that. So, hey, why not give them a chance to play, to cooperate? So just so you guys know, that's what was going through my head, and I had your best interest at heart. I am not as involved with them as people would like to think. I've had one phone call with them and a few emails, and that's it as far as the communication between me and them. So if you think I'm in cahoots, like I'm one and the same with them, that is just not true. So if there are people who still are trying to get their money back, I can provide you guys contact information. I can help as much as I can. But I will say this, if you come at me and try to bark up my tree and try to hold me responsible, I'm just going to freaking turn your ass away because I don't need that. I'm here to help. Don't kill the messenger. All right. So on another point, I know I would like to get it's been a while since I made a video, so I'd like to get some jewels out as far as content. So a lot of other questions people are asking me is how do I start building my credit? What are good accounts to get to start building my credit? If I'm at level 1, I'm talking either 18 or just no credit history, level 1. And that is something I can definitely help you guys out with. The top 3 accounts to start getting, if you're trying to build your credit, in my opinion, are number 1, the Victoria's Secret credit card. Why? Because you can do the shopping cart trick, it won't cost you a hard inquiry, and it's easy to get. Reports to all 3 credit bureaus. It's a retail card. It's just a good card to have if you're trying to build your credit, because you got to remember, you want a lot of accounts. The more accounts, the better, that are aged. Number 2 would be self-lender. Why self-lender? Again, that won't cost you a hard inquiry either, and it's a loan. So it's a different type. It's a secured loan. It's a different type of credit. It's not retail. It's a loan. So it's a different type of credit, which was good if you were trying to do a mixture of credit. And the third one would be the Discover Secured Card. The Discover Secured Card that card is awesome. Now that will cost you a hard inquiry, but it's well worth it because after a certain amount of time, they will actually convert you over. You will graduate into a unsecured card and you get to keep all that age. The minimum to start the card up, I believe, is $200. And not only that, if you would like to have more credit, you can add to it at any time and increase your limit, which is good too. So once you get those 3 cards, you can get those 3 cards pretty much, back to back, because the first 2, they're not even going to cost you any inquiries. Once you get those 3, you need to sit your butt back and chill and wait at least, I want to say 4 to 6 months before you try to get anything else. Why I want you guys to wait 4 to 6 months before applying for anything else after you've gotten the 3 starter accounts is because when the banks look at your profiles, they want to make sure that you're not somebody who's trying to source credit. Because there's some people, if you've got like 800 credit score, if you keep trying to open accounts, there's going to come a point where they're going to deny you based on just you've been trying to get accounts too soon, too fast. So that's why it's important to definitely spread things out. I'd say also another good rule of thumb is after you get the 3, you see these 3 accounts are special because 2 of them don't really cost you an inquiry. So you really only have 1 inquiry on there. Yes, when you open them, they're going to come up as new accounts, but still, like, you don't have an inquiry. It doesn't look as bad as if you got 3 hard inquiries. So, when you're doing your, building of your credit, you want to make sure that you kind of plan and strategize accordingly. Now, also, there's another thing I want to tell you. Just because you get a hard inquiry on one credit bureau, that doesn't mean you're getting it on another. So it's really, think about it. You have 3 credit bureaus that you can get hard inquiries on. And it's like, all right, so if you get the Discover card, I believe that pulls from Experian. Equifax it's not going to show up on Equifax or TransUnion. So now on those 2 bureaus, you have 0 accounts or 0 inquiries. So you got to strategize that way, which bureau that the inquiry is going to be posting to in order to pick what card you're going to get. And I'm definitely going to make another video explaining that more into detail. Another thing I'd like to say is that some people are like, oh, don't use the card, just sit on it. I don't agree with that. In my experience, if you use the credit card, companies, they want to see people using the credit, paying it back. They don't want to see people just having accounts and never using them and then just sitting there. That doesn't really give them a lot of information. Yeah, it's like, okay, it's 0 balance and it's reporting, but they like to see people making payments. They like to see people getting into debt and then getting out. They like to see people managing the accounts. That looks better than a card just sitting there, with nothing on it. Another thing I'd like to tell you guys is that your credit score, it's not like, oh, I got this number credit score, now I'm in, I'm good, I'm golden. It doesn't really work that way. The credit score, it's kind of like a starting point for them to start looking into you. If your credit score is like really low, they just won't look at you at all. They don't want to waste their time. But if your credit score is at a higher level, then they're going to say, all right, let's look into this person. So I will say this, as far as the credit score is concerned, there's some people with lower credit scores getting approved for things that people with higher credit scores aren't. Why is that? I'm going to tell you. Because it's more than just the score. It's what's the activity on the accounts? How many different accounts are there? That kind of stuff. Payment history. Are payments being made or are they just sitting at 0? That kind of stuff matters. So when you're trying to build your credit, obviously the score is definitely something you want to worry about and make sure is high, but there's other things you kind of want to look into too to make sure it's on there. Like I said, making payments on things, actually using the cards, having the activity on there. The more activity, the better. In my experience, I've seen the more activity you have, as long as you're never late and you don't get into too much debt. If you're using the card, paying it off, that's fine too. But just the more activity, the better, because they can tell if it's just sitting there at zero or if you're paying it off and using it. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Crusader out.